Well folks, this is going to be part 1 of the Gravely 4-wheel drive tractor build, and we're going to be building it out of two 400 series rear ends from a Gravely and a Wisconsin TFD twin cylinder 14 horse engine that came off of a Hobart welder generator. So anyways, this is just going to be a regular 4-wheel drive tractor. It's not going to have the dump body on it like my 4-wheel drive dump truck did. It's going to have the engine in the front, which is going to be mounted on top of the transmission, and we're going to go from there. Pretty much going to have the same pivots and swivel plates and stuff in the middle like my 4-wheel drive did. We're going to keep the same design. It's probably going to have to get lengthened some. A couple of things might have to get changed here and there, but it's going to be basically the same deal. So anyways, I'm going to be working on this for probably the next couple months, obviously enough, considering I only have after work and stuff to work on it, and the weekends. So I've started already today with pulling off the brake drums and the brake bands, and as you can see, this axle is still in very good shape. It has a nice keyway left in it. Now as for the left hand side, or the right hand, depending on which way you're looking at it, I was able to get the brake band off and the drum, but have a look at the axle. As you can see, it got loose over time when someone was using it, and the keyway ended up breaking off a piece out of the axle, which would be these two pieces right here. And here's the keyway that was in it, which there's really not a whole heck of a lot left to it, so it's in pretty tough shape. And because of these pieces here getting wedged up like this when I was using the puller and the impact, it ended up breaking part of the brake drum off because it just pried it right up. But on this tractor we're going to only have brakes on the rear transmission, which is going to be this one that we're using. So I'm only going to need the brake drums on the back, and for the front I'm probably going to take off these brackets and the drums, and I'm going to get some wheel horse hubs because they're just the flat hubs, really simple, and we're just going to use those for the front. So I'm going to should have another good hub on the front transmission, the other one I have up in the shed. But I also noticed this one was broken for a while because you could see it's dirty in there where it goes down into the brake. So even still, when someone was using this, it was starting to crack itself apart, so it's not a complete loss. But anyways, we're going to get started by pulling off these axle housings, so that way we can get to the differential. Alright, I got all the bolts out of the axle housing, so we're going to see if we can slip it off. And let's get zoom out there. Got a pretty fair amount of gunk in there, so that's all gonna have to get wiped out. And as for the axle, it doesn't look too bad. Got a lot of grease and stuff left in there. Everything spins alright. Yeah, this one, when I got this, it had a lot of leaves and stuff in it. As you can see, it's a lot still in there, and I gave it a washout, but I really got to get this differential out so I could scrape everything else out of it. So anyways, we'll flip this around and we can pull off the other side. The whole differential's going to come out with this. File that down a little bit. Probably gonna have to run some sandpaper over that axle to get it out, but all that's gonna have to get cleaned up. And I might even take the differential here apart to get to the spider gears to see how they look inside. You can see there's still leaves left in there. And the worm gear doesn't look too bad except for all the junk around it. And this was also repaired here, this bolt, or this boss was around it, or whatever you want to call it. So hopefully if that's still strong, it's not too bad. I'm going to put some metal patch and fill around there and smooth it out, so I know it'll be sealed, and then I won't have to worry about that. And as you can see, the Swift-matic dogs aren't actually in too bad a shape. They have a little bit of wear to them. They've been peened over, but they're not at an angle or anything like that. They still have a nice, fairly true square to them, so I'll probably just file those up nice, and those should be all set. So anyways, I'll get this axle cleaned up, and then I should be able to slip the whole differential out. Alright, the differential is out, and after I could really look at them dogs, I'm definitely happy with them. They are in great shape, as I had said. I also got the shifting fork out, and all the other gears, dog gears that are inside of there for the Swift-O-Matic. And the inside of this housing doesn't look too bad. It's got the usual junk inside of it. And that lever there doesn't look too bad either. I'm going to find the hole where that bolt goes, which is right there, if you guys can see it. So I'm going to have to wipe that off and see if I can find a crack anywhere, and hopefully this housing on the inside isn't cracked through or anything, and it might have just been the boss that it sits on the outside, which wouldn't be too bad. So I got my work cut out for me. I'm going to have to clean these up. I'm going to have to pull the differential apart, make sure everything's good inside there. I'm going to have to look around for another axle, because I don't think I'm going to be able to use this one unless I build up weld and have a machine shop, groove it out and cut the keyway again. But I'd really rather find another axle or just a whole nother differential setup like this. So if any of you guys know of anyone who has one, or if you got one, I'd really appreciate it if you let me know. And the next thing that's going to be going on is getting all these linkages and levers off here, and I'm probably going to end up having to clean up these clutch rods, and then debating still whether I'm going to be pulling the worm gear out. So that's part one of the Gravely four-wheel drive tractor build, and that's all for now.